none other than the CEO himself, Dame Dash, on the podcast. How you doing today, family?
What's happening, man? How y'all doing?
Blessed to have you, man. Blessed to be here. Damn sure happy to have you on this day, brother.
Absolutely.
Let's get it popping, man. Dame Dash Network. Very excited to see what you got going over there on the network, man. Give the people a rundown of what's going on with the Dame Dash Network, brother.
Well, you know, I launched it about a year ago. Well, you get Dusko? I launched it about a year ago. My dogs is barking. Dusko! Somebody came to the door. So I launched about a year ago, and the innovation was that it was all original programming with a point of view. So it has movies that I made, documentaries, television shows, all about self-empowerment, knowing self-worth, evolution, just Dash diabetes, health, entertainment, gangster shit, all of it. But my dream was always, and it made logical sense, because I am good at making movies and I'm good at making clothes and I'm good at making music, for you to be able to buy all that shit while you're watching. So the innovation now is that while you're watching it, you can actually buy it. You know what I'm saying? As well as the fact that, it makes music, it distributes music, magazines, books, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So while everybody else is launching apps, everybody's hip to it, my thing was to launch it so that you could buy things while you're watching without leaving that experience while you're inspired. And I'm sure everybody else is going to do it, like Disney and everyone else. And I do things first so other people can emulate it, so then it can become normal. But just remember who told everybody about it first.
How do you view your competition, your Netflixes, your Hulus, Amazon Primes? How do you plan on, usurping them and taking them out?
Like I said, I can sell things from it, but the content is good. It's content where we tell our authentic stories by the people that have the authentic stories, instead of having to sell your rights to another culture to now have them bought from you. You have no control of it. You don't get no residual income from it. And the narrative is never right. And it doesn't teach us the right shit. So there's patterns. The things they show us all day do not behoove us as a culture. They make us look like we're number two when we're number one. So on this network, the truth will be told, and there's no compromise of quality. I'm dead nice with making all of the content. I think I'm better than all the movie makers like a Scorsese and all of them. I consider my competition at that. So it's the quality of, oh shit, look, Oskino just walked in. What's happening, bro? What's good? All right. I'm gonna pick you guys. Yeah, right, the mask on. Yeah, take him outside, Nicolette. So yeah, you remember Oskino from State Property, right?
Hey, we been hitting him up too. What's up, Oskino? Yeah.
All right. Where y'all from?
Jersey.
Oh, yeah, I'm Jersey, yes, that's Oskino. We about to do some work. He got his podcast. I'm gonna go down there, but I wanted to check him, come to the house real quick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You talk Black empowerment networks and competition, and maybe Clubhouse, a lot of Black promotion, but when you look at the owners, they don't look nothing like us. So what do you think about Clubhouse and how Blacks have kind of put that on their backs already and make $1 billion venture that it already is?
Well, I don't know who owns it and the business of it, but I do like that it's a place where people want, and they're conscious about being smart, where they want to at least do something and make a change, and it's intelligent conversation. So, if something's going to be the wave and someone's going to make money off it should be something that's positive for us. So I think it's identifying those that are really looking for knowledge and having some kind of a smart conversation, at least for now.
Now talk about, your new son and your recent proposal to your fiance.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Can you
Thank
talk
you.
about how that, is shaping your life nowadays?
I mean, it was my dream was to have a child with a woman I love in a functional relationship and be in a place where I could just spend time without having to visit my kids, So Rocky fought really hard to make that baby, and she's been riding or die with me for like 13 years, 12 years now. And she's given me the wealth that I was looking for, the happiness that I was looking for. So of course, that was the next thing that had to be done, was for me to bend that knee and do the right thing. But, it's a long time coming. and she's making a documentary about IVF and losing a baby and then going through it again and having a baby. And she runs the companies. You know, she's my partner. So to me, I would suggest that if you really fall in love, which means you want to be around a girl all day long, do a business with her. Then you with her all day. And work feels like a date. And when you win, she wins. And that's what our relationship is. And it's been a lot of fun that way. You know? So I'm happy that she's getting to get all of that. Because she gave me something I can't buy.
Word. Seems like it gave you a newfound motivation, the birth of your son and the engagement. It seems like you just on another level even more than you already were. Seeing all that experience from the outside looking in, it seems like how that motivated you.
I mean, it means that if you have something and a dream to fight for, if you really fight for it, it will happen. So it just made me believe that patience and resilience is always going to end up in something that's a W, a win. And you got to know what you're fighting for. So some people fight for bubblegum shit. You know, I feel like I fought for something real, for love. And it worked out. And it wasn't easy. You know? So that's worth celebrating. It just made me conscious that if I really believe in something and fight for it, if me and someone I love really believe in something and fight for it, and it might be something that it's easy for somebody else. You know, things that are free are priceless, like breathing and being able to have a baby without any complications. Some people take that shit for granted. I took it for granted 4 times before. But it was like the relationship, and, you know, I never had a baby on purpose, you know, except for and it was always like, oh, we pregnant. This one was strategic. We fought for this. So I'm celebrating that, you know?
Can you talk about some of your influences, man? I heard you talking about Minister Louis Farrakhan and Muhammad Ali being some of the people that you actually look to for inspiration. Can you talk about that and Minister Farrakhan reaching out to you?
I mean, you know, again, the minister is the OG on a lot of levels about a lot of things. And, you know, they tend to focus on the things that are most polarizing. But there's a lot more stuff that he can teach. And the farming and surviving and being an individual and being proud of who you are and the respect for your culture and being intelligent and being crispy when you're 80, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Knowing how to fight, having instruments, knowing how to play instruments, knowing how to farm, being a real Renaissance man. You know, an Alexander the Great type in the sense that you're conquering for your people and you become a celebrity for your W's. You know, money doesn't make the man. It's how much you do for people.
I got to thank you, Dane, because I don't know how long ago it was now, but that Breakfast Club interview you had where you were kind of going at envy a little bit of not going at it, but just asking a question about boss rhetoric. And I'm at a job at that time. I got a 2-year-old son, and I like to believe at that time that I was a boss. I was the boss of my child, and that kind of put me into a harsh kind of reality. Listening to you, it woke me up, and it got me to where I'm at today. A little bit of that motivation. I appreciate that. To talk about that, the CEO mindset, and you're thinking and going up there and letting them know, listen, I don't care what you think. You may be the picture of your household, but you ain't a real boss if you got to answer to somebody. That was powerful.
Well, I only speak boss, and at that moment they were talking slave. I don't comprende slave. So I just had to say, like, bro, when you're talking to a boss, you got to level up. But you're not going to impress me with certain things that I don't believe in. And, you know, because of that, that was the conversation that was had. And, you know, I liked the conversation because it was public, and I thought that they evolved after that. You know, and I was there to promote something to sell, but what I ended up promoting was a mentality that I think changed a lot of what we are today, and I'm glad. So, you know, I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be learned from.
Right. Consistency in business, and I know there's a particular episode in there where you guys talk about that and just being consistent, and you break it down like, you know, you can't have a restaurant and it be nasty one day, then good another day. You have to be consistent. So can you break that down for our audience, you know, where you have to be consistent in any business that you do?
It's your brand. You know, if you're a drug dealer and your work is bad, they're not coming back. But if they know your work is good consistently, they standing online and they waiting for it. They're not going to take nobody else's work. So you got to be consistent, or else you're not going to have consistent bread. You ain't going to have consistent cash flow. You ain't going to have consistent cousins. You know?
Culture Vulture, the book, man. Book written with you and Kenyatta Greg. We had Kenyatta Greg on the show a number of times, friend of the show. That book was a life-changing kind of experience, too, and the movement that it had was very powerful. Talk about the creation of that book, Culture Vulture.
I mean, that was me and Kenyatta just chopping it up. And like before everyone had podcasts and all that shit, we was doing that. And we're just giving out free game from my perspective, my game. You know, you don't have to play my game, but if you want to, I can tell you how I play it. And I'm very generous with how I feel in the moment. And that's what we did. We took it and we took that information, put it to paper, made an audio version of it with music. And, you know, hopefully there'll be a part 2. I'm sure there will be. I talk to Kenyatta often. And, you know, there's more to come. But it'll be a different book because I'm in a different place, different experiences. It'll be the evolution. I like the fact that Culture Vulture, the term, is almost like the worst thing that a white person wants to be called. Like, not the Culture Vulture word, not that. That is in our vernacular now. You know? Like, I made up a lot of slang like pop tags and fresh to death and all this type shit. But Culture Vulture is the one term I'm most proud of.
Right now, in that book, you mentioned, you know, a few people, one being Leo Cohen, and you called him a Culture Vulture, and you pretty much, you know, said that he was instrumental in breaking up Rockefeller. Can you talk a little bit about that? Some of the people who called out in that book.
I mean, I would prefer everybody get the book. I'm just sick of talking about those people. They're in my rear view. And he's not relevant to me, you know? So I think I was able to make his legacy exactly what it should be. And that now he has to pay the proper respect, or at least pretend, while he's exploited. But at least when Leo Cohen walks in the room, everyone's like, oh, that's the dude Dane was talking about. Let's double check him, and let's make sure he doesn't say anything slick. He has to come with a different approach now.
Now, the apology, what happened with that? How did that affect Kenyatta in the book at the time?
Man, I was hearing too much police talk. And that's that. And I ain't feel like being bothered. So leave me the fuck alone and keep my name out your mouth. You no longer have beef with me. So leave me alone. I don't know how it affected Kenyatta. But for me, that's all it was. It was like, I just leave me alone. I'm living my life, you living yours. So if you offended, go ahead over there and be offended over there. But there ain't no reason to talk about me. And, you know, I don't want to be my name kicked around in certain circles for certain things. So that was that. That's how I was feeling in that moment. It wasn't saying I apologize for what I said. It was, if your feelings are hurt, I'm sorry. But I said what I said. But it's over. Leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all making it more of a beef than it is. It ain't. It's my opinion. It's not my lifestyle to be talking about niggas all day. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I'm bothered or if I'm fucked up or something and I need to make money off it, that's one thing. I'm not. My future looks too good to be talking about my past all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the dude that's in high school like, yo, I was the quarterback when I was 16 and keep talking about that shit all day. You know what I'm saying? So I said what I said. I left it. I'm not even in that industry at all. Those people aren't even in my orbit. So it's for all of y'all that are still affected by him, they soft. And I just wanted y'all to know that. You know what I'm saying? But no beef. Leave it alone. It was just an opinion. Go live your life. I'm living mine. I'm not really mad. I'm just aware.
How do we, in your opinion, get rid of the culture vultures? Because we see that when people like you and other people call them out, who have brothers and sisters that still continue to feed the vulture, whether it be going to platform or different things like that. How do we rid the industry of the vultures, both black and white?
I mean, you know, we just got to get stronger as a culture and work within each other. And we got to blackball them and stop letting them, you know, validate our success, because they don't. You know what I mean? It's a new narrative. But there's always going to be soldiers. There's always going to be generals. There's going to be people that think they're free, but they're slaves. And there's going to be people that are free and know they're free and want everyone else to be free. But most slaves, they don't want to be free. They're scared. You know what I'm saying? Or slave mentality. So, you know, breaking a slave mentality takes effort. You could be complacent with being miserable. You could be scared of being happy because you don't know what it is. You know, I think people got to find a happy place. They have to understand what their dream is and what it means to live it, and then fight for that. And culture shouldn't get in the way of your happiness. You got to do what you want to do regardless, as long as you're doing it fair.
What are your thoughts on the 360 deal? You broke that down a lot. You talked about how that, pretty much, for lack of a better word, raped an artist.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't give up my merch. I wouldn't give up my show. I wouldn't give up anything because you don't have to. What can they do for you that you can't do for yourself in this moment? So I just don't think it's necessary. I think because of the fact that when we did the Rockefeller deal, that Lior couldn't get a piece of Rockware and he couldn't get a piece of any of the ancillary things. I mean, I used to literally laugh at him. I used to be like, yo, I'm using all your money, or not yours, the money from the venture to market every other thing I'm selling, and you can't get $1. And I used to laugh at him. So, he was like, that will never happen again. And they made the deal. But I warned everybody about it. Like, yo, don't sell your ass. Because the ancillary thing is where and people better really look at their digital. That's what you really got to look at. Don't give up your digital. Don't give up your YouTube, because that's what they be taking on the low. That's the new hustle. So don't let them catch you for that.
We know you're on the outside looking in, but your name in hip-hop still stands as one of the prominent names in hip-hop history. So I'd love to know your opinion on the current state of hip-hop. What do you think it's at? And what do you think about all the rash of violence that we've seen played out right in front of us on the phone within hip-hop?
I mean, as it relates to the music, I'm 50, so I'm not going to judge it. I haven't been around in 30 years. So I don't expect it to be the same as it was. And, music is usually based on the environment. I'm not outside, so I don't really know what the environment's like. So I'm never going to judge it, but I do hate that these kids are getting killed. I hate that, and that's a problem. And I'm going to leave it at that. I just wish that being successful didn't come with going to jail and friends and family getting killed. That we have to figure that one out. But as people that are older, leading by example and showing people how to age eloquently, that would be the most I could really do. And that's what I do. I drop the information to make sure people aren't fitting in that program where it's all right for us to kill each other and let our oppressor get away with all this shit. That's what they want us to do. And they give us the tools to do it. So we can't use them to be caught up in their game. Their game is make them fight each other while we rob them. And that's what we do. It's all right for a brother to kill another brother and be celebrated for it, and that's crazy. And it's all because of fear. Because, people have to grow up in a certain environment where they have to survive, and then, you expect them to turn that shit off, and it's hard to. So if you come from a place where you have to be violent to survive, that's all you know, and that's all you teach. So we have to make that environment a little less traumatizing for the young ones, so that they don't have to feel they have to kill to defend themselves and to survive. Because kids are taught to be tough only because they're like, yo, if you don't, someone's going to take advantage of you. You're taught to either be food or do the eating. It's, you kill or be killed. If you're taught to be, yo, would you rather be killed or be a killer? You're going to say, I'd rather be a killer. I mean, what choice do you have in that environment?
Right. Snitch culture. Do you think that's helping to hurt hip-hop? We know the code, and we know that we don't allow any rats if you're in that game. But we seem like that's kind of getting promoted, and they've gravitated to that and kind of promoting that in front of everybody. Do you think that snitch culture, that word snitch, is helping to hurt hip-hop right now?
I mean, snitch doesn't help anything. So, I'm going to leave it at that.
Now, I seen you probably in 2015 is when I first heard of the situation with Desiree Perez and Rock Nation. You broke it down on Sway.
Nah. Next question.
All right, I want to talk about the marijuana business.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
A lot of people, a lot of us, smoking marijuana for years, in jail for it, sitting there still doing time for it, and now the boom is across America. It's getting legalized, and we see other people making money off of it. Talk about the marijuana business, where it came, where it's evolved to, and how we...
Oh my God!
Hey! Oh, my dog is fighting. Hey! Hold it. Governor!
Sorry, 1 second. I don't know where to bring
Look at the rumble. Look at the dog. Sorry. The dogs be fighting sometimes. But go ahead, what you saying?
Marijuana business. How can we benefit off the marijuana business right now? Now that it's booming, it's popular, and we ain't going to jail for it.
I mean, it was way easier when it was illegal. It's oversaturated. It's taxed. You know, there's so much regulation on it. It ain't the same game. You know, it really isn't. So, you know, once something gets regulated, that's when it becomes more expensive to do, less margin, more competition, more money that you have to put up. It's not an easy game. And I'm seeing people investing. I ain't seeing so many people really killing it like that because it's just it's a lot of competition. So, you know, don't expect just because it was fun. Like, it's easier to sell liquor than to sell and grow weed because you got to grow weed. You know what I mean? A fan break, you fucked up if you're growing. You know, if there's too many microbials on it, if it's not cleaner than food, you fucked up in certain states. And then there's seed to sale. So they track every bud till it gets smoked. And you have to pay for that tracking system. Then there's taxes. And then you have to pay for the license. And then you have to build the shit based on code. This shit was rough. I was in it, I was like, fuck all that. It was fun. It was way more fun selling weed when it was illegal.
So it's not as lucrative as people think?
I don't know. I haven't made a whole lot of money doing it. I know it's a big business. I see funds and all that stuff. You know, it's a new opportunity, but it's just, at this point, for me, once everybody's hip to it, it's too hard. You 2 for 5s. So, you know, if you asked me that 5-10 years ago, I had a different answer for you. I was in it. But, you know, honestly, truthfully, for me, it's too oversaturated now. For me, I wouldn't do it. It's better to me to like have ancillary things like the trays, and you know, if you have a genetic and you can license it, then yeah, that's easy. But actually physically growing it, fuck all of that. For real.
Do you invest in stocks and stuff? Would you invest in marijuana stock? Would that be smart?
Right now, I just invest in me. I ain't got time for that shit. But I know that it's lucrative and people should learn it. It's just not a game I enjoy playing. I only do things that I would do for free. I only get paid to do it and like if I love basketball then I'd be a professional basketball player. You know, if I love playing video games, I'd be a gamer. You know what I mean? I just do the shit that inspires me. Because, again, I only work on my dreams, and my dreams become my job. And then that never feels like work. So you got to find your dream and get so good at it, something that you would do for free, that you do it all day long till you're better than everybody. And you can't look at yourself as a professional at it until you're making money, until it's paying your bills. You're not a professional until you're making money at it. Just because you got something like a business, it don't mean necessarily that it's a professional business. A professional business, sometimes you lose, you have to invest, and then you get to a place where you sustain, and then you make profit. And you have to be able to do it for years. That's a professional business.
Right. Can you talk about the importance of passing the plug? I hear you say that often about, you know, when you're learning something, you know, a lot of us don't put other people on. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah. Nobody passes the plug. It's like they protect the plug, but they never want to help. So, you know, once certain people get in position, they be like, oh, I don't know the boss or whoever it is that can help you number. They don't pass the plug. And I think people should do that. I pass all my resources. You know, I don't see the purpose of hiding it.
Now, break it down as far as the what you're doing with the streaming and your network. Can you break that down? Could you pass the plug, you know, to us, other people looking to do that? What was the process of getting into that?
I mean, you could always white label it and go to someone that already makes it, but you have to populate it with your own content. Me, I got with some app makers because I wanted to architect one that doesn't exist. But, you know, having an app means that you're in everybody's pocket. That means everybody's phone becomes your spot, your block. And if you have work to click, there's distribution. So there's no reason not to do it.
Power to flip. Talk about that. Grabbing income, flipping it, and reinvesting it. Is that still something that you hold true?
Yeah, that's what I do. I flip. So, you know, if I make some money I put it into something else so I can make double. You know, I buy weight or do it at that level, or I inject it in a new company so that it can make more. So one company started here, it was Rockefeller, then it was Rockware, then I did Rachel Roy, then the next thing was DD172, Creative Control. Now I'm at television networks. It all came from a flip. The money I made from Rockware, I put into Rachel Roy. The money I made from Rachel Roy, I put into Dame Dash Studios. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's always been the flip. Like music was my first flip. That was my ounce. I flipped that, made it an eighth at Rockware. I flipped that, made it a key at Rachel Roy. I flipped that, made it 20 birds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all been a flip. So after I make this money, I'll probably invest in something else and start all the way from scratch.
Octopus, that was also a part in the Culture Vultures book. Can you talk about that philosophy in business? Something falls off, you get rid of it and grow it again. Can you break that down for the people?
Yeah, your brand is matter of fact, I got it right here. It's in one of my folders.
Okay, cool.
And one of my so basically this is the brand, and these are the extensions of the brand, the different ancillary things that should be stimulating and making money. If one thing doesn't work, you just cut it off. And like an octopus, the leg can grow back without hurting the head. So that's the purpose, and that's the way I look at things. An octopus head and at least 8 legs around it, so one could get chopped the fuck off.
Now you obviously set up corporations. You don't run business in your own name, right? Is that like one of the secrets to it?
Let's talk about that one offline.
No doubt.
Say no more. What was I gonna ask you? Aaliyah. Aaliyah, still, her name is still just as prominent as Biggie's and Tupac's. We can not think of R&B and think of R&B princesses and queens without thinking of Aaliyah. Is that surprising to you, all these years later, that her name is still out here and still just as strong as it was?
Not at all. Not at all. Matter of fact, look, she gave me this painting right here. This is Tommy Warhol. I said Tommy Warhol. Andy Warhol. I said Tommy Warhol. Look, she gave me this right here.
Okay.
I mean, I always knew what she had the potential to be. I knew what she was. I know what she is. I'm not surprised. She's made everybody, influenced almost everybody moving on every level. You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
I heard you talking about your current fiance, that she makes you, feels like Aaliyah feels. Can you talk about that too, and the importance of finding a good woman in your corner?
That's what we all trying to do, find a partner and relax and chill, someone you want to hang out with every day, all day. That was Aaliyah, and it was fucked up because Aaliyah had her own career, so it meant we weren't together as much as we wanted to be. We were always doing our own thing and missing each other. So when you get with someone you love, that you always want to be around, I was able to recognize that because it was the same feeling. But the difference was I was like, nah, we doing companies together. No one's enjoying you but me. I'm selfish with her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Indeed. Minister Farrakhan, his name was in the news as of late also because of things Vlad said about him. And we had Lord Jamar, we had Godfrey, we had Nori, and countless other people saying we got to cancel Vlad. What is your thoughts on Vlad now?
Same thoughts I always had. Disrespectful to the culture, and that's that. Fuck Vlad. Let's not talk about him.
Word,
Agree. So what's if you had to, guess, I know you don't really, operate like this. What would be next for you, in business? What are you working on? You can let us know, like outside of the, the Dame Dash Studios.
Well, I'm working with the OSG network, which is 90 Black Principles, and we're developing new curriculum. Whatever the Board of Education won't do, we will do, and we make awareness of the things and the problems from a principal's perspective. Someone that's on the front line with the commission, and that's Senator Eddie Milton, Congressman Andre Carson, Dr. Chris Pinnell, Bishop Pinnell. We deal with therapy with Taj and Melanie and Do It All. And you know, we get together and we deal with things. We get laws passed. You know, we did something with Beyond Meat called Project Everybody Eats. So we gave the hood schools and orphanages, you know, an alternative than to just giving them the disgusting meat. We gave them Beyond Meat, you know, something healthy, which is exactly what I'm eating. So a lot of what I've been doing is learning how to help, understanding history, trying to do my part, make myself more evolved. You know, getting to sit with all these countries, I get to learn a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, it's about making sure all the programming, like, you know, again, I just was going over, because I'm launching DTV, which is terrestrial television, March 1st. So now I'm going through doing programming grids, shit like that. So the evolution of me and my business means that it's like I got to make 10 movies a year and 5 television shows and 3 documentaries and all these clothing lines and all these things are businesses within themselves, and they all have to be celebrated, and all those have to really run right. They all entail, you know, money, investment, time, design, packaging, all of it. So I'm on one. You know, I'm insane right now because one company entails 10. You saw them octopus legs? Those are all companies that I'm doing independently. So some people discount the fact that not only do I make the streaming service, I'm going to direct the movie. I'm a director. I might act in the shit. I write it. You know, pay for it. Every one of those things individually is a big deal. But I'm doing a lot of big deals at one time to where people be like, that's just Dame. He does everything. And I'm cool with that. But, you know, also make the music. I got a rock group called The Black Guns. So you can go to Spotify now and see me lead singing.
Mm-hmm.
Therapy is the name of the album by The Black Guns. You know? So it's just me. I'm 50, man. I'm just chilling, having a good time. And this is my version of just relaxing. Doing what inspires me for a living.
You said programming grade. What's that?
So it's just when the shows play, what shows are playing, what time, scheduling it all out, all of that.
Gotcha.
At one point in time, it was talk about the Rockefeller like a biopic. Would you be open to ever doing that? Yeah. And sitting down with Jay-Z again at some point if you wanted to?
Maybe.
That'd be dope. We definitely would love to see that.
Hey,
I got to be in the mood for that. I got to be in the mood.
Word.
I'm just not in the mood. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm in the mood, yeah, I got to be inspired. You know? So, like, I don't really do what everybody wants to see. I do what makes me feel good. And I don't do everything for bread. But if it was the right check, I have no choice. There would have to be an offer that I couldn't refuse to stop me from pursuing my dreams.
Right. Now, when you not to go too deep into Rockefeller, we heard it over the years, but did you strategically plan your company to be like that, or did it just blow up in front of your $300 million company at one point?
No, it was strategic. Everything was planned. I planned out everything. Except for the way it ended.
Right. The rest of it, yeah.
Just like everything I'm doing now was planned.
My last question to you, brother. Definitely appreciate your time. This is Dame Dash from the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. The contract with Black America. We had a lot of political shit going on the last couple of months, and Cube came out with the contract with Black America, presented it to the Republican Party. I think now he presented it to the Democratic Party. If you're familiar with it, what is your thoughts on Cube and the contract with Black America?
I mean, it's good that he tried. Holding America accountable is hard. It's almost like you got to do it yourself. But it's good that he gives us a voice. You know, I'm always support Ice Cube.
Your website, and any last remark you got for the people?
The website, Dame Dash Studios streaming service, and check me on IG, Dusko Poppington, and you can go to Dame Dash Studios IG at Dame Dash Studios. So, you know, that's where you can find me.
Indeed, brother. Truly honored to have you on the podcast, man. Thank you very much for your time. Salute, brother. Dame Dash on the podcast.